We give a very practical shir on Thursday night about how to buy a lulav. It was recorded. If somebody wants to get the recording, I think I recorded it. I don't know. Maybe I have it somewhere. But you hit a record on yours?
No, I think only the road.
But we finished that, and now we're moving on to the hadas, how to buy it, and the halachas that apply.
The lulav got thrown out.
You're joking.
So the guy took it out.
Oh no!
Took it out.
It's not there.
Left it outside. I don't know.
Oh man. Okay.
We're finished.
No, but had hadasim there also.
In the lulav?
Yeah, hadasim also. Okay. They probably thought it was the shuas flowers, for everything out. Okay, so on Lamed Beis Amud Beis by the Mishnah. Lamed Beis Amud Beis. And it's a very similar beginning of the Mishnah. And the Mefarshim do ask that it seems to be quite similar. Why is it very repeated? But it's not for us right now. The Mishnah starts off like this: Hadas hagazel va'yavesh pasol. Hadas in English is a myrtle. It's a myrtle tree, and the branch of a myrtle tree is called a hadas. And if it's stolen or if it's dry, it's pasol. Okay, very similar to the lulav. Just to show you a picture. I can't show you a picture of a stolen hadas, but I can show you a picture of a yavish hadas. If you turn to the back in your pictures, it's on page Mem Gimel, and it's picture Nun Ches and picture Nun Tes. Seems to be machlokes how dry it has to be, and you have there a very greenish, whitish hadas. Picture Nun Ches and picture Nun Tes. Some say it has to even when you touch it with your fingernail, it starts to crumble. Some people say no, as long as it looks like whitening on picture Nun Ches on page Mem Gimel, that is your very dry hadas. So a hadas that's stolen or that's dry is pasol. Just a chazer, why is a hadas that's stolen pasol? So we know a rule, mitzvah haba ba'avera. And that would apply the whole sukkahs. Mitzvah haba ba'avera, it could be pasol. Could be other amiroim would learn. It's only referring to the first day, and because you don't own it, that could be why it's pasol. But the rest of the sukkahs, maybe it is okay. And maybe it is okay. Depends which amira you go like. But for all intents, we'll just say right now the hadas is pasol that if it's stolen and if it's dry. Why is it dry hadas pasol? Do you remember what we said?
It's not nice.
It's not nice. It's not beautiful. It's not hadar, and therefore it is pasol. Then the Mishnah goes on to say, "Shel ashera v'shel ir hanidachas." If the hadas is from an ashera tree, which is a tree that was worshipped. And we learned in the Gemara, it's talking about the trees in the times of Moshe Rabbeinu, when they came into Eretz Yisrael, and there was a specific tzivui to eradicate and burn every single Asherah tree that was ever worshipped. So if you take a branch from that Asherah tree, which halach is has to be burnt, it's as if it's burnt. And since we're going to need a certain shear that a hadas has to be, a lulav has to be a certain shear, a hadas has to be a certain shear, therefore it's as if it has no shear, and therefore it's possible. And Ir Nidachas is the same as sea that went off the derech. The whole city went astray doing Avodah Zarah. You have to burn everything in it. So these types of items, it's as if it has no shear, doesn't have the Dalet Tvachim or Gimel Tvachim, whatever it is, and therefore it says in the Mishnah, pasal, it's pasal. Okay, another familiar line, Niktam Roishai, if the top was cut off. Okay, just to take a look at a picture of this, it's not the leaves of the hadas, it's the actual branch. Take a look at page Mem Daled. Picture Samach, the first picture top right, and you will find in your very own eyes the Niktam Roshai Hadas. This could happen, by the way. Anyone ever had this? It happened to me one time. I was putting in my Hadassim. No, I don't think I was putting it in. I opened up my Hadassim, and one was chopped off. It fell off. Anyone happened to? Yeah, it happened to you?
I feel like I've seen it.
Okay. So Niktam Roshai, picture Samach, is not the leaves are cut. The actual branch was clipped off. Okay? When that happens, says the Mishnah, it's going to be pasal. That's really bad at Niktam Roshai. But we learned also chazar from lulav that some people say it only applies. It's a chazar not in beauty, it's a chazar in being complete. And complete, being a lekicha tama, we never really learned about it so much, only applies on the first day of Yom Tov and does not apply the rest of Yom Tov, but we'll just learn for now it's pasal. So the Mishnah doesn't say apostle, the Mishnah says Niktam Roshai. The next case is Nifritzu olav. We're also familiar with this. What does that mean? The leaves were torn off. With a picture. Picture Samach Beis. I would leave one hand by the pictures. We're going to have a lot of pictures today. On page Mem Daled, picture Samach Beis. we have nifritzu olav. The leaves are pulled off the hadas. It's not beautiful, and therefore it's pasul. Okay, picture samach beis. Okay, the Mishnah says another case. Oy shehayu anavav merubais me olav, or it's another literally means grapes, but over here means berries. The berries are more than its leaves. Olive are leaves. There are more berries than leaves. The halacha is all these three: niktam reishay, top cut off, nifrut olive, the leaves are torn off, or there's more berries than leaves. Says the Mishnah, pasul. Take a look. No one ever even knew. Anyone ever saw a berry on the hadas? Nobody here?
Could you take them off?
Yes. About to see in 1 second. Mishnah. Very good. Page Mem Dalet, picture Samach Gimel. You're going to see for the first time hadas with more berries than leaves. Right there. Okay? That's also not so beautiful looking. Okay? So all those cases are pasul. Back to the Mishnah. What Akiva just said. V'imiatan, if you decrease them, you go ahead and you pull off the berries, you did it. You went ahead and you pulled them off. Not that they fell off. You actively diminish the amount of berries, says the Mishnah, kosher. That's fine. It's not a negative that it has berries, just it can't have the berries on it at that time. If you pull them off, it's kosher. But the Mishnah says an important caveat to that is you cannot decrease them on Yom Tov. Anybody can think why you can't do it on Yom Tov? It's not kaitzer because it's not live, it's not growing anymore. Why can't you pull off a berry?
Might eat it.
Probably misakin. It's misakin. Right? You're not allowed to be misakin something, make something that was not good, now it's good. Right? If this hadas is not kosher and you're making it kosher, you're like misakim under, you like fixed a kli. So I think that's why.
If it's a postal hadas, you could.
What?
You're not doing the sock in it anyway, then you could pull off its berry.
Yeah, I think so. If you want to use it on Yom Tov, it means it wasn't something that's in your backyard. It was something you have in your house.
You
Yeah.
have in your house. The top is cut off, so it's possible regardless.
Yeah.
You want to eat some of
If
those
you
berries?
have it as a kid's toy that you play with adasim, yeah.
I'll eat those berries.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. It's like playing with cucumber. I mean, it's up to you. So I think. I mean, again, that's what I would say. That is our Mishnah. Okay, our Mishnah is very similar to the lulav. Everything's been pretty much the same. Lulav had more cases, and this one that's different is more berries. That was the interesting thing about the berries. Says the Gemara, Tanu Rabbanan. The Rabbanan taught in a brayso. Now, before we see this brayso again, this is the most famous pasuk in this parak, and we're going to read it again. It's in the Torah or Hashalim on the left side, Aleph. It's in Sefer Vayikra. We'll read it inside because you have to chazir for life. Ulakachtem lechem b'yom harishon. You should take for yourself on the first day pre-eitz hadar, a fruit of a tree that's beautiful, and that's going to be the esrog, which is not our sugya. Kapes tamarim. This is the one we focused on for the last couple of weeks. Kapes tamarim means branch of a date tree. Okay, branches of a date tree. And this is the one that we have now. Va'anaf eitz avis. Anaf eitz avis, literally translated, is a very hard word. Like you can't even read this pasuk without the Gemara. Anaf eitz avis. Anaf usually means like a branch, but here it means like like leaves. The leaves of a tree, avis, that's like braided. Braided means like it's like hair, some of the hair braided, or like chains. It means that it's a tree that the leaves are braided around it. Va'anaf eitz avis. It's a tree that has leaves of it that are braided, and we'll see why in a second why the hadas in 1 minute. And then it says va'arvi nochal, and also aravim, willows of a stream. We'll get to aravim later. And the pasuk ends up, "Usmachtem b'fnei Hashem Elokechem shavas yamim." You should rejoice in front of Hashem your God for 7 days. Why does it say the Yom Rishon and why is it 7 days? We're not getting into that now. Those are the 4 items. Says the Gemara, back to the Gemara, Tanu Rabbanan. The Rabbanan taught in the brayso. The pasuk says, Anaf eitz avis. Okay, that's all it says. Literally translated, it means like leaves of a tree that are braided. But the brayso explains what it's saying better than. The brayso says, Sha'anafav chayfin es eitzai. Its leaves, anafav means its leaves, chayfin cover, as eitzai, it's wood. What's very unique about the hadas tree is that the leaves cover the wood. Ve'ezehu, and which one is that? Which tree out there do its leaves cover its wood? Says the Brisa. Heve'emer, you have to say Ze Hadas. That is the Hadas. Take a look at the picture. The picture shows you this idea. It's on page Mem Dalid. It's picture Samach Dalid. Okay? And it shows you don't see the branch, pretty much. It's the leaves cover the wood, picture Samach Dalid. The leaves cover the wood. It's braided. Braided means every leaf is on top of another leaf. Almost like braids in the hair, right? Where it's like goes in, if a girl makes braids, every hair goes into every hair, whatever you call it, like that. So it looks also, even though it's not really woven, it's nothing woven, but it looks woven. It gives you the feeling how the leaves, and you don't see any wood. Okay, that is why just to point out one thing, everybody knows that you take Adasim as one of your Dalaminim. All we're trying to figure out though is, where did they get it in the Torah? Where did they see this? Where did our fathers, our grandfathers, how do they know from the Torah that's referring to the Hadas? And the answer is that they darshan Anaf Eitz Avos, that Anaf, its leaves, cover the eitz. They cover the wood of it by being braided. When something's braided, it fully covers the entire wood. That is the Brisa, and that is how we know the Hadasim are the Anaf Eitz Avos. And the Brisa. The Gemara says, what? Maybe not, says the Gemara. Vema Zesa. Maybe it's an olive tree. Take a look at an olive tree. Picture Samachay on page Mem Dalid. You see the olive tree? Anybody sees olive trees? I'm not familiar with olive trees. You've seen them in Israel? Yeah? Okay. Is that what it looks like? Yeah. So the olive tree, take a look at it. You can hardly see the branches. I can hardly see the branches. Who says that it's referring to the Hadasim? Maybe it's an olive tree. I hear that. It's a very solid chance. A lot of leaves covering the wood. The Gemara answers, no. I'm used to kafas. Be'inin avos veleka. You need it to be braided veleka, and it's not. It's not braided like the Hadasim. Hadasim is beautifully one going around the other, beautifully around the wood. It's just a mess. Look at the olive tree. It's just like tons of leaves. I don't know. It's covering the wood, but it's not braided. I wouldn't call that braided. So the Gemara says it's not the olive tree. Okay, the Gemara wants to try something else. Ve'ema dulva. Maybe dulva in English means chestnut. I wrote chestnut. Maybe it's a chestnut tree. Okay, not chestnut street, but chestnut tree. If anybody wants to see a chestnut tree, it's on page Mem Daled, picture Samach Vav. Anyone ever seen a live chestnut tree? No? What? Never saw a chestnut tree? Okay. So anybody ever ate a chestnut? Yeah. So if you look at picture Samach Vav, there's your chestnut tree. Take a look at the leaves. Does anybody think that fits any of the qualifications? Okay, Tesis goes ballistic on Rashi, but we're going to still go with Rashi. Tesis says, I don't know what he's talking about. How could the chestnut tree be the tree? I mean, there are a lot of leaves, but they're not covering the branches even, and it's not braided. But Rashi could be at a different chestnut tree. Okay, it could be in France where you live. Could be they're different. So Rashi says, maybe it's the chestnut tree that has a lot of leaves, and officially it's braided. Okay, officially.
It has a lot of leaves.
It has a lot of leaves. Oh wow! I just like a regular tree on this. Okay, you have to Google it. You have to ask the Google Adar after. Okay. Says the Gemara, maybe it's a chestnut tree. The Gemara says no. I need its leaves to cover the wood, and you don't have that. It might be braided, which we don't see from the picture is braided. Rashi seemed to say it was braided, but it did not have the mila that the leaves cover the tree. Okay? You need you need two things. You need the leaves to cover the tree. It has to be braided around the tree. So that you don't have. So the Gemara tries one more. Ve'ema hirduf. Maybe it's the hirduf tree. I don't know what the hirduf tree is. I know what the English is, and there's no picture. There was some sort of a type called a hirduf. Maybe it was the hirduf tree. The Gemara answers two answers. Amar Abaya says Abaya, no. And we had this earlier. It says in Mishlei that the ways of the Torah are ways of peace. They're very pleasant. I shouldn't say they're peace, sorry. They're ways of pleasantness. Keeping the Torah is pleasant. Veleka. And you don't have that with a hirduv tree. Why is a hirduv tree not pleasant? Because it's very pointy. It had a lot of sharp edges to it, and it's not comfortable. It's like holding a rose. It's not comfortable. The Torah would never have said to do something that's not pleasant. That's what Abai says. Rava says no, a different pshat. Rava says mehacha from here, a pasuk in Zechariah. It's a very famous pasuk. So I want to see the pasuk inside. Look at the pasuk. It's on the left. Gimel. We say this pasuk every fast day. Very famous for fast days. Pasuk says, "Koyamar Hashem tzvakes." So says Hashem tzvakes. Tzayim Revi, v'tzayim Chamishi, v'tzayim Ashvi, v'tzayim Asiri. The fast of the 4th month, the 5th month, the 7th month, the 10th month. That's Asar B'Teves, Tisha B'Av, Tzayim Gedalia, Shavas B'Tammuz. Those are all the 4 fasts. Yeh Lebeis Yehuda l'Sasnu Simcha. In the future, they're going to be for the house of Yehuda, for the Jewish people, as a time of rejoicing, Ulamoyadim Tevim, and for Geshmaka Yomim Tevim. But the pasuk ends up with one important point. If you want these fast days to end, Va'emes v'hashalom ehavu. You should love truth and peace. Okay? The way to change it, you want the Beis Hamikdash to be rebuilt to end the fast days, you should love truth and peace. Back to the Gemara. Rava says mehacha from here, pasuk in Zechariah. I know why you don't do the hairs of the tree. Because it says, Ha'emes v'hashalom ehavu. You should love truth and peace. What does that have to do with bringing a hirduv? The reason is, guess what? The hirduv is not peaceful and it's not truthful. Why? Because it's poisonous. The hirduv is a poisonous plant that can kill an animal. Can't kill a human being, it can kill an animal. There's no way the Torah told us to use something that's poison. Very interesting musar, right? It's not hard to hold. We're not eating it, but it's poisonous for animals. The Torah would never say do a mitzvah or something that's poisonous. Okay? So why you allowed to eat kichel and herring and all these things on Shabbos? But whatever. Those are not as the Jewish foods are not as bad as the hirduv. But you're not to eat poisonous things. They're not what Hashem wants, and therefore we'll end right over here. So as a sikum, the nafei tzavis is the hadas, and we figure I can't be under any other tree besides for that. Which one? Because it's not a lack of being pleasant.